I'm a little bit late to the actual event because I set it up later than usual, and I'm late regardless. My sleeping schedule, man, it's very difficult. One of the most hazardous things about being a YouTuber is that, especially if you're European and you get a lot of Amerikanski as your friends, you want to stay up to talk to them. And when you do that, it's 3 a.m., it's 4 a.m., and then it fucks up your entire sleeping schedule. But I'm here. Okay. I need to put this chat over here. Hello, Peter. Yes, the Euro sleep schedule. It's horrible, but it's doable. You manage. The thing that I hate, and this is another problem, telling the internet what you hate is the worst idea possible, but it's when people tell you, it's like, you need to go to sleep. It's like, I'm a YouTuber. I don't sleep. Okay, I don't have to wake up in the morning. I can make my own sleeping schedule. If I want, I can go to bed at 3 p.m. and wake up at 9 p.m. Stop telling YouTubers to go to sleep. You should see the schizos in Pippa's community. They literally try to subvert her into a proper sleeping schedule. Most fucked up shit I have ever seen as a YouTuber. My God. Okay, republics. All right, let's look first into Canada banning the guns. I was wondering when they were going to do it. I was actually talking to people about this because I was like, look, the Canadian government is becoming way too fucking authoritarian. They're going to ban the guns. Like, there is no other way, right? Yea, behold, they are going to ban the guns. Now, technically, they're not banning it, right? Because it's very difficult to actually take the guns away from people. It's dangerous, that's why. But what they can do is they can prevent people from selling them, and they can prevent people from buying ammunition. And I know, like there's usually the internet brainlets. It's like, oh yes, but I can make my own ammunition. Yeah, good luck with that. How many people do you think actually make their own ammunition, and how much is that ammunition genuinely effective? Like, let's be real here, all right? Like, most people do not fabricate their own weapons and ammunition. Soviet Leafistan. See, this is my theory. Hopefully I'm wrong. But this is my theory. Really bad times are going to be coming. Like, really, really bad times. The quality of life for a lot of people is going to plummet. The life your parents had 30 years ago is not the life you're going to have, and definitely not the life your children are going to have. Like, we're talking about hunger, we're talking about shortages, we're talking about rationing. So, the quality of life is going to go down. But the people in power, they want to remain in power. They don't want to take responsibility for the stuff they did. Right? And most of it is running on debt. Like, that's probably the main reason why your quality of life is going to go down. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with COVID. It doesn't have anything to do with the war in Ukraine. No, it's just the fact that a lot of politicians have plunged their nations into debt. So in other words, you have a leftist politician that goes like, vote for me and I'll give you free shit. So when the politician gets in power, he borrows money, right? Because he is not the one that has to pay for it. And then the next administration does the same. It's like, vote for me, I'll give you free shit. And they kept borrowing money to the point where the debt cannot be repaid. And this means that the quality of life of people is going to go down, right? Because the economy is fucked. But they want to remain in power. They don't want to lose control. This is what the Great Reset is about. It's like a controlled demolition. Like, so the things don't go to shit, but they can control, right, the collapse of the lifestyle, the average lifestyle of the citizen. So, in order to do that, they need to control people. Now, there is technology to do that, right? This is why they try to control what people talk on the internet, like all of these misinformation boards and all of the internet censorship that's ramping up. Like all of these things, including in Canada, as we've seen, like the banks can literally freeze the assets of peaceful protesters. The Canadian Prime Minister doesn't even have to talk with the protesters anymore. He can just lie about them. It's like, oh yeah, they're racist bigots, blah, blah, blah. Then don't talk with them and just have the banks freeze their accounts. Call them terrorists and everything like that. So they don't want people to organize, and they don't want people to, like do a strike or anything like that. So they want to control the public, right? Take away their guns, take away their ability to organize, take away that, so that the people in power who kept doing these tactics that got us where we are can remain in power. That's pretty much what I think, okay? That's my theory of what is happening right now. Canada should introduce a total ban on the buying and selling of handguns. Now, what's interesting is that in Canada, from what I know, there aren't many, if any, mass shootings. Like, I didn't know it's a problem. And it wasn't done with a referendum. It wasn't done with Justin Trudeau running on this platform. Like, all of a sudden, he came up and he said, yeah, like, there's a crisis in the US and we're going to cynically take advantage of that. So we're going to ban the handguns. So this is going to propose a new law that would freeze private ownership of all short barrel firearms. The legislation would not ban the ownership of handguns outright, but would make it illegal to buy them. By the way, do you know, like in the US, they keep talking about, okay, common sense regulations. So we're just going to ban assault rifles, right? Like we want common sense regulation. Well, look, in Canada, they already banned them, and now they're moving to guns, right? To handguns. And after they ban the handguns, they will keep moving down. Like this is the step-by-step thing, right? And what they're doing, it's like, oh yeah, we just want common sense. Yeah, sure. The bill, which was presented in Canada's parliament, makes it impossible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns in the country. Other than using firearms for sport shooting and hunting, there is no reason anyone in Canada should need guns for their everyday lives. So using it for sport shooting and hunting. Notice how self-defense is not a reason to use guns. Now, again, we're talking about Canada. Like, Canada is a lot more peaceful than the United States. So in a way, I get that. But, like, in the United States, people don't have guns in order to have self-defense. Like, the Constitution explains why people have guns. It's quite literal in the Constitution, isn't it? To overthrow a tyrannical government. Look what happened in New Zealand. Gun violence has gone way, way up after banning of the guns. So I don't know about the type of culture New Zealand has in order to talk about that. I know that Canada is kind of a peaceful country, probably because of the cold. No one wants to commit crimes when it's cold outside. You got the Musai patrolling the streets. No one wants to go out when there's a Musai. So the gun violence continues to rise. From 0.1%, it went to 0.2. Again, like, the reason I don't believe in this shit is because you see it in the UK, in London. Like, in London, they don't have guns. And yet there's a stabbing epidemic. The problem is the fact that you have people wanting to commit crime. And honestly, I find it a little bit insulting. That's the main problem with it. It's a little bit insulting because it assumes that if you have a gun, you're going to snap, right? So the idea that you can be a respectable gun owner doesn't exist, right? Like, you having the weapon means that you are the problem. Like, that's the mentality. With Ethan Klein, being upset about the NRA meeting. Like, okay, so if a person just goes, buys a gun for themselves, never uses it, according to people like Ethan Klein, he is part of the problem. Right? Self-defense makes it easier to prevent tyranny. Well, here's a statistic that never gets mentioned. How many times do guns actually prevent crimes? Because here's the thing, right? Imagine the following scenario. You live in a patriarchal rape culture. And the woman, the big buxom lady, she walks on the street, boobies bouncing, and then you have the criminal. And the criminal manages to ambush that lady on a dark alley. And the lady goes, bah! And the criminal goes, I'm going to rape you now. And the woman goes, you know what? I have seen on TikTok in Finland that there is a way to avoid being raped. It involves the dance. And she does the stop. Don't touch me there. This is my no Glock. Oh, hold on. Let me put the music again because it's very beautiful. Like, this is something that needs to be seen and experienced. Okay, so it's actually created a viral thing on TikTok. Costed several $1 billion to make, if I'm not mistaken. The campaign.
Mr. Speaker.
Let me guess. You guys don't hear the audio, huh? Is this what we're going to? Hold on.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no square.
In case you can't hear the audio, it's stop. Don't touch me there. This is my no square, right?
This is my no square.
Okay. This is what you need to do. I'm not kidding. According to the wisdom of the government, in order to avoid getting raped, you need to do the dance. The anti-rape Macarena, as I like to call it. Stop, don't touch me there. This is my no square. Look, this gentleman is safe. I guarantee to you, 100%. Like, dance or without dance, this gentleman is safe.
Stop! Don't touch me.
So, I just used my DLC to this song, and it actually works. It's like, stop. Don't touch me there. This is my no Glock. Right? So, what am I going with this? Like, how many crimes does Mr. Smith and Mr. Wesson manage to prevent? Because think about it. The guy goes, right, to the mademoiselle, to the lady, and the lady goes like, ch-ch. She doesn't have to fire it. Okay? Like, she's not firing it. She's not doing it. She just shows it. It's like, I have the freedom pass. Okay? Like, I don't have to deal with your shit today, mister. And the man runs away, right? Is there a statistic that actually accounts for how many crimes have been prevented just by the person showing that they have the freedom pass? Like, this is my freedom pass. Fuck off. I don't have to deal with your bush. Not today, not here, not now. Right? So, V will post this on Twitter soon. Ah, Jesus. There's no crime statistics on crimes that don't happen. Well, no, see, because attempting crimes can be a crime, at least in my country. I don't know the law for the United States, but, like, for example, if you try to rape a woman and the woman fights back and kicks your ass, you're still guilty of attempted rape, right? So it's still a crime. Just because the person wasn't successful doesn't mean that he's not a criminal. That doesn't mean it's like, oh, well, you know, well, he didn't succeed, Your Honor. He didn't succeed. I mean, he tried his best. Didn't work out, so clearly we need to let him back out on the street with the law-abiding citizens. No, like, that's not how it works. How it works is, like, there is a crime committed. She showed the gun, right? And he ran away. That's a crime. That was prevented, but still a crime. If someone flashed a gun at you, you wouldn't be like, not today, walk away. Well, no, like, I assume that if you flash a gun at someone, the other person runs away, right? Like, that's the normal self-defense, self-preservation, actually. Sorry, self-preservation mentality. But yeah, so there are statistics. It's called defensive gun uses. Yeah, but I'm curious if those statistics take into account when the weapon wasn't fired. Because again, like, just by showing the weapon, not firing it, not nothing, you're just showing it like, boo! And the person goes, ah! And runs away. Does the Clinton defense? I didn't do it on purpose. Oh, I see. I learned from the best. Show them your no square. Man, I you know, like, here we are called corrupt because it's Eastern Europe and the government steals money. But in other countries, you have millions being given to the anti-rape Macarena. How is that not corruption, though? It's kind of like, I don't know. hiring me in order to make a lovely poem and paying me $1 million to do it. Like, I would consider that still to be corruption. Even if, like, I deliver the product. It's like, I'm pretty sure, like, the taxpayers wouldn't want that shit. Just getting a piece of paper that says no guns allowed. Oh, yeah, that definitely. So anyway, right. As we see gun violence continuing to rise, Canada is going to ban it. Unlike in the US, gun ownership is not enshrined in Canada's constitution. See, this is what I keep saying on my channel. The only reason that the United States has freedom is because of the constitution. Like, if the people in charge, the people at the US government, if they could build their own country, like, let's say you take the people from the US today and you send them to the moon to build a colony on the moon, and they can start it from scratch. You know, they can create whatever type of system they want. They can create whatever type of society they want. They would create an authoritarian hellhole. The only reason that the United States is not authoritarian right now is because of the Constitution. And it's very difficult for them to change the laws. But they're trying their best in order to weasel their way around the Constitution. Oh, yes, you have free speech, but it just so happens that the government works hand in hand with private companies to ban people from speaking. Oh, yes, you have the right to own weapons, but, you know, it's not an absolute right, and we're going to ban that. Oh, yeah, you have the right of, I don't know, what else did they attack? The Supreme Court, yeah, like the Supreme Court interprets the Constitution, but if we want to, we can stack it. You know, like that type of thing. Like, they keep finding ways around it. The founding fathers were some of the best people that ever existed. Honestly, historically speaking, yes. Like, you can look through the prism of history and you can see that they created one of the best nations in the world, hands down. And you can point it out that it's the case because people tried to go into the US rather than ran out. I don't see, you know, like they say, oh, well, the United States is a racist country and people try to run away. Sorry, the United States is a racist country and blah, blah, blah. I don't see black people trying to flee the United States. Isn't that fascinating, right? Like, you have Mexicans trying to flee Mexico. You get Europeans trying to flee Europe, like Russians, for example. Germans try to flee Germany during the Great Depression. Like, usually you have people that try to run away from a place to a place that's good. Like, no one tries to go into North Korea. You know, you don't have Americans that try to flee into Mexico unless they committed a crime. But they own slaves, yeah, like pretty much like everyone else in the history of mankind, and they stopped, okay? Like, they stopped owning slaves. But yeah, so Mr. Trudeau also announced an immediate ban on 1,500 kinds of military-grade and assault-style weapon. What the fuck is an assault-style weapon? By the way, like, here's my question, right? Regarding assault-style weapons, like, I would want to... Like, is this an assault-style weapon? Because, again, like, it looks like you have the emplacement, like, you put it on the ground, and it goes like... Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, this looks like a defensive weapon, right? Like, you defend yourself against the zombie hordes that are coming towards you, and you go like... Like, it looks like something that... So, is this banned or not? Because, again, it looks like something that you use to defend an area rather than assault it. I don't think, like, this is really good to assault something. Because it's big, it's cumbersome. You don't move freely when you're assaulting. The sniper tripod... Well, it's not a sniper. It looks like a heavy machine gun to me. It looks like the Counter-Strike 5.1 weapon, right? Like, when you... Brrr, you know, like the suppressive fire. Brrr. What about the minigun? Like, is a minigun an assault weapon? Because I can't imagine anyone assaulting shit with a minigun. Like, it's clearly a defensive weapon. Like, you put it there to have the perimeter defense. Right? But, like, you can't carry it in a room on your back. You're not... Unless it's a helicopter. Like, if it's on a helicopter, then maybe it can be an assault weapon, right? Because you're assaulting enemy territory. But like, if it's on the ground... I know it's a bipod, motherfucker. Like, that's not my... Ugh. Who cares if it's a bipod? That's not what the conversation is about. Focus on the matter at hand, motherfucker. The matter at hand. This is why Americans keep losing debates, because they don't focus on the matter at hand. It's like, oh, it's a tripod, it's a bipod. I don't fucking care what it is. The weapon doesn't look like something you would carry when you're assaulting. It looks like something you're carrying when you capture the territory, and you know you're guarding through the window, and you're making sure no one comes in. It's a defensive weapon. It's a full semi-automatic assault rifle, yes. You can carry it on an ATV, yeah, but in this situation, it's not carried on an ATV. Like, it becomes an assault weapon when you put it on the ATV, is what you want to say. Are slingshots okay? Probably not. Probably not. Oh, my God. Can't believe we're still having this conversation. But again, it's Canada, you know, it's understandable. I mean, it's a different country, it's a different culture. It's not like you have the same mentality in Canada like you have in the United States. Just so you know about Canada, the truck protest, from what I could gather, overwhelmingly Eastern Europeans. Like, yes, those Ukrainians that people put their flags up, you know, on Twitter. It's like they have the Ukrainian flag. Yeah, those Ukrainians, they're the ones that were into the freedom convoy in Canada. Like a lot of people from Eastern Europe. I saw the Romanian flag. I saw the Ukrainian flag. I saw the Polish flag. Right? Like, these are the people that want liberty. I'm really curious as to why. Why is it? What did happen historically that all these people want liberty? Why is every American here apologizing? I don't know, man. For not annexing... What do you mean, let's annex Canada? Do you know that Canada burned the White House? Historically speaking, let me see. Canada burning the White House. I love mind-fucking Americans with this. Because they legitimately, like, do not know that this happened. Like, Americans think they're the center of the universe. And then you tell them, well, do you know that time when Canada burned the White House? And they're like, what? Look here, you bigot. Burning of Washington was a British invasion in the capital of the United States during the Chesapeake campaign, 1812. And following the defeat of American forces, a British force led by Major General Robert Ross marched on Washington. That night, the British forces set fire to multiple government buildings, including the White House, the Capitol building, oh no, as well as other facilities of the U.S. government. The attack was a retaliation for American destruction in Upper Canada. U.S. forces had burned and looted its capital the previous year, and had burned buildings in Port Dover. Less than a day after the attack began, a heavy thunderstorm, possibly a hurricane and a tornado, extinguished the fires. Oh my fucking God. One nation united under God. Like, Jesus Christ saved the White House. Look. So, the Canadians came in with their British soldiers, and they burned Washington, and then... less than a day after the attack began, a heavy thunderstorm, possibly a hurricane and a tornado, extinguished the fire. You see this shit? One nation united under God, motherfucker. There's no other explanation. Look how bad it looked. Look how bad it looked, chat. Look how bad. And then God went like, ptwee, and he spat. He spat on this shit. Put it out. He put it out. Like, enough. It's not just a hurricane, but a tornado as well, according to this. See, Americans didn't know. Americans didn't know. What, 1812 was a mistake? Yeah, it was a clusterfuck on both sides. Like, let's put it this way. I'm pretty sure if the people at the time knew about it, they would be like, okay, let's not do it. Let's just don't say we did. Well, probably Putin's fault. Wasn't it the Napoleon times then? If anything, Russia actually helped the United States back then because Napoleon got BTFO'd in Russia. No. Sorry. It was before that. God. I know, like, what happened vaguely around the time period. Like, if you tell me the 1800s, I kind of get what happened. You know, early 800s, late 800s, mid 800s. I kind of... But, like, when you tell me, like, the accurate date, I completely lost. the US was on Napoleon's side. Yeah, the US was on Napoleon's side because it kept the British in check. Like, the British were focused on Europe and left America the fuck alone. That's why they were on Napoleon's side. It was also ideological, right? Because the US didn't want to have kings and monarchs. So that was part of the deal. But it was mostly strategical. But Napoleon goes into Russia, gets BTFO'd, and then the British have the resources in order to have a more say in the matter, let's put it like that, because there was no more conflict, but still. I think that the South almost won because of the British. Like, again, very few people know this. It shocks me, you know, when you talk with an American about history, it really, like, blows my mind, the details that they do not know. Like, anything they know about history is from pop culture. That's the vibe that I'm getting, you know? Like, for example, the burning of the White House. They don't know about it. If you talk about, you know, the Civil War, like, slavery. It's like, no, that wasn't the bit. Like, it was during the war that they even came up with the concept of freeing the slaves. Like, no, that wasn't the reason why it started. The South, it almost won. So there was a delegation that was supposed to arrive in Europe from the South. So you had on board, I believe it may have been, I might be wrong with this because, you know, this is not European history, so I'm not that passionate about American history, but I do know a couple of things. It may have been the British ambassador, right? So the North, by accident, captures the ship from the South carrying the British ambassador. So the Brits are really pissed off now, and they're already starting to pour troops into Canada, and they're ready to invade the North. And it's only because of Abraham Lincoln's, I guess, ingenuity and his ability to do diplomacy that he actually manages to stave off the British. And it's like, look, this guy, this admiral that captured your ambassador, like, he went rogue, he's not with us, blah, blah, blah. So it is that. Oh, you did learn that in school. But like, why is it that so many Americans, like, they don't know about this? Like, do they not learn it in school? Do you know when, okay, fine, let's put it like this. Do you know when a black power supremacist bombed the White House? No, sorry, not the White House, the Capitol building. Let me see if I can find it. Capitol building. 1983. Yeah. Look here, you bigot. This is from PolitiFact. Far left group bombed the Capitol in 1983. That's how it's different from the January 6th attack. See, it's different. I mean, it happened, but let me tell you how it's different. Fun fact. There was another fact checker, which, by the way, like, this led to my favorite fact checking of all time. So, apparently, the lady responsible for this attack, one of them, I believe her name is Rosenbaum. I might be wrong. But she went to prison, you know, like the judge and jury found the defendant guilty. And then she left prison and she was on the funding board of a BLM activist group. So the fact checkers went in and they said, look, yeah, like, she is a terrorist, but because we don't have a common definition of what a terrorist is, they decided to put that as like fact checking mixed, you know, like missing context. I shit you not. It's my favorite fact checking of all time. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can find that again. I think I found it from Newsweek. Yeah, like, look, on Newsweek, they actually talked about it. Fact check. Did the Black Lives Matter leader bomb the U.S. Capitol in 1983? So, left-wing terrorist group, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all of this is set in stone. Like, this happened, okay? It's in 1983. Like, it's not like recent history or anything. It's like, oh, well, we need to wait for the facts. No, like, there was a trial. They found the defendant guilty. And their claim partially true. Susan Rosenberg, wasn't Rosenbaum, my bad. Rosenberg, formerly a member of a left-wing terrorist group known as Minko, did participate in the bombings, for which she served a 16-year sentence, but she's not the head of a BLM network. She's part of the board of directors for BLM Global Pro. Oh, I see. So the meme is misleading. But there is another fact check. Like that was my other one. I think it's from Politico, which they say, well, because there's no common definition of what terrorism is, then we can't really claim that she is a bad person. Oh, I see. Naruhodo. Most people won't check. Yeah, it's pretty much why they keep doing it, right? Because if people were to actually check, if people were to actually look into the articles and actually read the thing, they would change tactics. But because people only read the headline, that's why they keep doing this. Hail Hydra, eh? Alright. Let's go to... How much time do we have left? Oh shit! I didn't look to see if I got any super chats. My bad, sorry. Let me check. Chotomate. Because I don't want people sending me moolah. And I know I'm giving buyer's remorse, but I don't want to give too much buyer's remorse by not reading their super chats. Okay, well, I didn't get anything, so that's good. I mean, it's not good. It's bad for me, but it's good that I didn't miss any. Alright, let's go to Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg. Oh. Whoopi. You know, I actually liked Whoopi Goldberg when I was a kid. But back then she was an actress, so... Let's see, where did I see Whoopi Goldberg? Star Trek, The Next Generation was one. But I remember, like, she used to star in other movies. Hold on, let me see where Whoopi Goldberg used to star in. Whoopi Goldberg. It's kind of weird, because she looks kind of young compared to how old she is. I mean, again, like, when I was a kid, I was watching her, right? So... Not discography. Oh wow, she wrote children's books. I didn't know about that. Acting career. Holy shit, from the 80s? Like, get your feet washed? They are washed. Alright, let's see if I can find out where... Ah, are these the ones? Man, why don't they just show the movies? Ah, here we go. Let's see if I can remember any of them. I don't know what these movies are. Like, they're way before my time. Dragon and the Slippers, what the fuck? Why don't I remember any of these? Oh, The Lion King, I remember that one. Star Trek Generations, yeah. A Christmas Carol? I don't remember that. Don't know. The Rugrats movie, I remember that. I mean, I used to like her so much that if I remember, like if I saw that, oh, this movie has Whoopi Goldberg in it, I would be like, okay, well, I need to go see it. Oh, look, Pinocchio. The Lion King 1.5? What the fuck? Is that a thing? Oh, Toy Story 3? She played in a lot of kids' movies. Like, a lot of kids' stuff. You only watched her in Rat Race? I remember her, like, in many movies. I don't know why. I don't know these titles. Like, maybe I would know the actual movie if I were to see it. But, she was pretty good. Not gonna lie. But now she's unsufferable. Didn't she get into trouble? Didn't she get canceled for saying some dumb shit recently? Something with Jewish people. Let me see. Whoopi Goldberg canceled. Let's see. What did she say? Okay, so she had a controversial Holocaust claims. Ooh. Yikes. Yikes, Whoopina, what are you doing? Look at this. Actress and talk show host has received a 2-week suspension. For wrongful and hurtful comments. Ooh. What did she say though? She's going to take time to reflect and learn. Oh my god. So you can't teach an old dog new tricks. What the fuck did she say? Oh, I remember what she said. Yeah. She was saying that it's not okay to compare the what the Nazi did to the Jewish people because the Jewish people aren't a race. That's what she said. Right? And it was hurtful. I know it was hurtful because the media tells me it was hurtful. So if the media says it's hurtful, then it must be so. But yeah, so fortunately she didn't get quite canceled because she's back in order to enlighten us with new takes. So she slammed Republicans. Oh wow, who would expect that? Oh my god, Whoopi going after Republicans? No way. For defending the Constitution. Yeah, that pesky Patui. And demanded they be as aggressive about gun control as they are about defending the unborn. Man, like, this is something that I don't know why the left thinks that there is a conflict of interest. It's just like your solution to defend children is to take away the guns. The right just disagrees with your solution. It's not that the right doesn't want to defend children. Right? Like, no one is saying that, oh, there's a shooter in that school. Well, don't do anything about it. Just calm down. You know, he's going to run out of ammo. No one is saying that. Right? Like, that would be, you know, like legalizing it is what would need to happen for you to make this claim. It's just that, like, right-wingers do not believe for a second that if you were to take away the guns, you would have children being more safe. Like, that's the problem. Okay? Like, your solution is where the disagreement is at. It's not that, like, right-wingers don't want to keep kids safe, because they do. The panel discussed the thing which happened in Texas, and she talks about abortions. I would like Republicans to have the same energy for regulating my uterus. Well, first of all, Miss Whoopi, I don't think your uterus at this age. Is it wrong to say, how old is she? How old is Whoopi Goldberg? Because, like, biologic reality does kick in at one point. I know that Democrats are at war with biological reality, but, you know, Father Time does taketh. Like, 66. Yeah, look, Whoopi. Like, at 66 years old, you don't have to worry about anyone regulating your uterus. Like, Father Time already took care of that. Yeah, I don't think... What is the oldest mother in the world? Let's see the record for that. Let's see. Record. Oldest mother in the world. Maria Carmen blah blah blah. She was aged 66 years. Oh, this was the Romanian, I think. She actually caused quite a controversy here. Yeah, so she was the age of Whoopi Goldberg. Okay, Whoopi, this is the last year. Like, if you manage to have a child after this year, Whoopi, you're going to get into the World Guinness Book of Records. Because, like, the oldest woman which gave birth is 66. The same age as Whoopi. Alright? Now... No, it's 66. It was in Romania, and I'll tell you what happened, right? So, she got pregnant using medical assistance, and the reason people were upset is because they considered that to be unethical. And in a way, it is unethical because think about it. When the kid is 18, how old is going to be the mother? And by the way, I think she was single as well, right? So she was single. She wanted to have a kid at the age of 66. And people were pointing out, dude, when the kid is 4 years old, you're going to be 70. When the kid is 14, you're going to be 80. Like, like that's the problem. And you're basically being very selfish, and on top of that is the added bonus of the fact that when you have the later you have a child in life, the more prone he is to genetical abnormalities and stuff. So the conversation wasn't about her, of course, the woman wants to, but the conversation was, is it ethical for the doctor to do it? Like, just because the patient wants something doesn't mean it's ethical to give it to them. I do think it's unethical, to be honest. It is unethical, Alphonse. And by the way, like, a lot of these doctors, when they do these things, is because they bank on the fact that they're going to be in the Guinness World Book of Records, right? So you're the doctor that managed to get a woman pregnant at the age of 66. Like that's why they're doing it. And then your name gets to be mentioned in the whatever studies and whatever citations people are going to give. So it's kind of like getting a big boulder over academic prestige. That's why doctors do it. But it is messed up. I mean, 66-year-old having kids. Really? And again, she's single. I mean, when she dies, that child is alone. Like, he's going to go into an orphanage. Why are you doing this? Can't you get a cat like normal women? But yeah, so regarding Whoopi, the Republicans aren't regulating your uterus, darling. Like, grandfather time already did that. But even then, it's like, what does one have to do with another? I don't understand. It's like, you guys, from the left, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, she supported mandates, right? So, on one hand, it's about body integrity, which, by the way, you would consider that to be a human right, and she's like, no, we don't care about body integrity. You go and you get the medical procedure, and then you show the QR code. Like, that's her statement on the issue. And then the right is like, oh, so body integrity isn't a thing anymore. Okay, well then, no more abortions. And now she's freaking out. But like, even then in the United States, I mean, you can just take a bus to a state that does allow abortions. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Whatever. So she criticized the Texas governor for expanding gun rights, which she claimed led to the shooting, which allows citizens to... And this is another thing, right? Like, I keep hearing the left say, oh, we should sue the gun companies, right? You don't sue the car companies for car accidents, but let's assume, okay? Let's assume that you get to sue the gun companies for every single shooting that happens. Perfect. Do you get to praise the gun companies whenever there's a crime that's being stopped? Like, for example, in France, right? You had the Nice terrorist attack where you had the guy driving a lorry through the streets of Paris. And he was stopped by a police officer with a gun. Do we get to thank the gun company for providing the weapon necessary required to stop that from happening? Do we get to thank Raytheon Defense for providing the brave Ukrainian soldiers with weapons to prevent the Russians from invading? Like, I want to thank Governor Abbott because he signed 22 bills this year, making it easier for mass shooters to buy, carry, and own guns in this state. Like, literally, they believe that every single person owning a gun is a mass shooter. That's the logic, the rationale, the reasoning that people on the left are happy. Let's apply his abortion laws to gun deputizing citizens to sue anyone involved in gun violence. Yeah, okay, but by this logic, we should also praise everyone that creates a gun that stops a crime, as I managed to say before. Think how knowing the type of medical intervention an embryo can be implanted as long as the uteral lining is intact. What the fuck? Dude, are you giving a lecture on medical science right now? We moved on. Clearly still fuming at the leaked Supreme Court opinion. The Whoopi Goldberg said, actually, let's evoke some Supreme Court logic too. Alito says abortion not in the Constitution. Well, neither are assault rifle 50. You know, like, they keep comparing this to abortions. It's like comparing gun ownership to car ownership. I mean, I'm willing to bet, I'm not sure, but I'm willing to bet that there are more car accidents, like more vehicle accidents, than you have shootings in the US, right? Like more people get injured in cars than they get injured with guns. So by her logic, we should also ban all cars. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they would probably enjoy that because like you'd only have public transport then. It's a lot easier to control people if they can't move around. Ah, my God, my goodness. My goodness. But again, like the conversation about guns in the US is over. It has been over since 2020. It's probably not coming back. It's been over for at least a generation. It's like, okay, well, the police is racist. Great. You know, we can't trust the police. It's like, but you can't have guns either. Oh, really? Fuck off. Ban alcohol while you're at it. Oh, fuck, don't give them ideas. I mean, you know, like, honestly, that is a good point. That is an excellent point. Why did they ban alcohol in the US? Why did they have the prohibition in the US? It's because people were committing crimes while drunk. Like, that was the argument, right? Like, people were drunk, and they were coming home, and they were being domestic abusers, or they would drink and drive. Like, they would cause a lot of crimes while drunk. That was the logic, right? So they decided to ban alcohol. Of course, you know, alcohol is very difficult to ban because anyone can create it. Like, all you need is fruits, a little bit of sugar, and you can create alcohol, right? You can create alcohol in your basement. You can't regulate fruits. I mean, unless you want to ban all fruits so people can't manufacture alcohol. But yeah, so with guns, it's a lot more easier to ban, right? Because a lot of people don't know how to manufacture them. They don't know how to, or they don't care, right? Like, but even then, like, if you're in an apartment building, like, how are you going to, you know, like, very few people are willing to do it. Like, let's be honest for a change. Like, let's drop the internet manufacturing business. It's like, oh, but I know how to. Yeah, shut the fuck up. You don't. Or maybe you do, but like, you're one of the very few. Ban fruit. Yeah, no, the only way you can ban alcohol, by the way, is if you have religion. Like, if people legitimately believe that you're going to hell if you drink it. And you can see this in the Middle East, right? Like, that's how you can ban alcohol. If you have a very strong religion, which tells people that that gets people to actually believe that there is a God, and they will burn in hell if they drink alcohol. Like, if you do that, then yeah, okay, you can ban alcohol. Because alcohol is banned in a couple of countries. And you need some public whipping as well, right? Like, you get flogging in the public square if you manufacture or drink alcohol. Yeah, I mean, if you do that, then it's possible. You can make semi-automatic weapons very. How many people do that, man? Like, how many people legitimately make their own guns? Can't 3D print guns. That's actually even banned on YouTube, I think. Like, they don't want people to talk about this shit. Ban turning down offers to come. Huh? This is a dry county. Yeah, like, it's so interesting because even after so many years, the United States still has like the mentality of dry counties. When I first heard about dry counties, I was like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is dry counties? And then I found out, it's like, okay, so there are places in the US, like entire counties, where you can't buy alcohol. It's not that it's illegal or anything. It's shops don't sell it, and I don't know whether or not, like, do they not sell it because it's against the law, or just because like they're of the certain ideology that doesn't allow them to sell the thing. But yeah, so you can make a really good business like importing alcohol in a dry county, right? Yeah, there are a lot of weird laws, I know. In Aztec society, only priests and nobles were allowed to use drugs and alcohol. They say the same about the imams. No, I don't think imams use alcohol. Like, this is something that I know for sure. Drugs, yeah, like you get a lot of weed in the Middle East. But alcohol though, like legitimately Muslims, very rarely, and it's not just alcohol, it's pork as well. Like there are some Muslims that drink alcohol, but mostly they don't because they legitimately believe in Allah and they legitimately believe they will go to hell if they drink it. So, but anyway, right? Let me share something else. So, they're going to make another Pinocchio. Disney. This is, I believe, the fairy. And when I look at it, I'm like, why though? Like it's so yeah. I mean, okay. First of all, yada yada. I get it. When it's Mulan, everyone is Chinese. Like they're very careful about the representation. When it's Aladdin, everyone is Middle Eastern. Like they're very careful with the representation. But when it's Pinocchio or a European tale, like no, we need to show that we're a progressive company. Blah blah blah. The Disney, the mouse, which minimizes black characters on Chinese posters. Yeah, they're the ones that are going to lecture you about racism. But that fine. But what I don't get is why is she bald, man? Why is she bold? Like, there are so many beautiful black actresses that they can go with. Why do they choose? It's kind of like trying to force something. Like, what are you accomplishing? This is what I don't get, right? Like, why do they? I mean, we saw what happened with Will Smith when someone made a joke about his wife not having hair. And like, people are very sensitive about this thing, especially women. Like, all the women that I know in real life, every single one of them, they care about their hair. Like when a woman goes and she buys shampoo, she's going to look at that label and she's going to compare the shampoo bottles one with another. Like they're very, oh my God, it's like, oh, I have 2 strings of hair on my brush. Oh no, the horror. Why do they do this? It's not even body positive. It's just weird, okay? Like women that I know, and it's not just women everywhere. They care about their hair. Like their hair is their most prized possession. And if a woman were to look like this, she would wear a wig. Like she wouldn't go out in public with. I just don't understand. Like what is Disney doing? Why do they know that the fans won't like it. They know that the fans won't love it, and yet they do it regardless. It's like they don't want to sell their property. It's like they just. It's the marketing, I think. Like, they want people to get upset so they can have their marketing. That's what it is, right? Like, they want people to be upset about it so that they can then say, oh, look, the bigots. The bigots are out in force. We need your help from the bigots. Go watch our movie, because if you watch our movie, it's going to piss off the bigots. And I'm curious, like, how long will this marketing trope last? Instead of spending tens of millions of dollars on marketing, how about, and this is a wild idea, but how about you actually make a good movie? Like, they used to make movies without spending tens of millions of dollars on marketing. Do you guys remember that? They used to do it. And the reason it was good is because, like, people watched the movie, it was good, and they recommended it to other people. It's like, hey, I watched this film, it's really great. Why don't you try it as well? That's how movies used to sell. Demoralized. I'm not demoralized. I watch anime, Lupus. I watch anime. I don't give a shit. They can put Tinkerbell as bold and make her head look like a cue ball. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I have my anime waifus. But like, it's just like bewildering when I'm trying to put myself into the shoes of the company. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, Zenith gave me a super chat. Thank you, Zenith. I was worried that this live stream was boring and like no one wants to show me love, but here Zedif came to save the day. I thought someone edited Jada as the fairy into the trailer. I didn't know it was the real trailer. No, wait, is that Jada? Get the fuck out. That would be so funny. Jada Smith, Pinocchio. Is that? Cause it's dark, right? You can't really tell from that picture. Oh, okay. It's not. You made the joke. I legitimately bought it. I legitimately bought it. Uh, you know what I think? I think like Disney is going to say, or actually, I'll save this joke for my lack of entertainment because this is the video that I'm going to cover. Holy shit! I gotta make 2 more videos. Yikes. But yeah, like this is one of the videos that I need to make on my entertainment channel. It's absolutely hilarious. I just, man, like, well, why are they adverse to creating a product that people like? How disconnected are they from reality? Like, why do you constantly do this, Disney? I mean, I know they're a rich company, but come on. It's almost like they don't care. They don't have a passion anymore. Like, who is the audience that they're making this for? Is the Biden inflation? Oh, my God. It's just... It is driven by money by ESG. But, like, the ESG investors, man, like, they... Look, no, this is the thing. No. This is why I don't believe it, right? First of all, you can still have your ESG score, like just have a black one. Look, let me show you something. Okay, so if you really want to put a black person in Pinocchio, okay, first of all, I would have made Geppetto black. I would have just made Geppetto like a kind black man, because there's like so many, like make Geppetto Morgan Freeman. No one would have complained if Geppetto was Morgan Freeman. I guarantee to you, like people would be like, okay, fine, But like, okay, if you want to make the Tinkerbell, what her name is, like the fairy, you want the fairy to be a black woman. Why can't you make her look like this? You get your ESG score. You get your fucking ESG score, and people are going to be just bewildered by your choice in casting. Right? I mean, this is just one example, but like there's so many. I can just go and show you like plenty of other actresses that could have filled that role and would have looked like it's a fairy. It's magical. It's supposed to be like the epitome of beauty, right? Like that's how I imagined it when I was a kid. Like she's got magic. She can make herself look any way she wants. It's a fucking fairy. It's just like... No, because like the ESG score gives you points if you have diversity, right? Fine. Like it doesn't tell you that the fairy needs to be black. You can make someone else black. I would have gone with the Morgan Freeman as Geppetto. I mean, he's an elderly chap, right? But here's another problem, right? Like, this is a European story set in the Industrial Revolution era, right? Like, why... First of all, you wouldn't have black people in it because, like, Europe wasn't diverse at the time. But if you really want to, why not set it in Africa? Why not set it in Africa? Oh, because it doesn't sell in China. That's why they don't set it in Africa, right? Like, they could have made the same story of Pinocchio, and that would have been interesting, by the way. Like, make the... If you really want Pinocchio to be like, like a... reimagining. Okay, put it in the Caribbeans. Like, you have it in the Caribbeans, and you have, like, this, Morgan Freeman, he's this elderly chap, and he just wants to make toys for the children, right? And he makes this wooden thing, and, the fairy comes up. Like, you can make it more believable, is what I'm trying to say. Make it in China, like, have a Chinese guy making Pinocchio, like, whatever. But, like, if you make it in Europe, and you're just putting this weird casting in it, it's immersion breaking. Like, the audience doesn't believe it. They reject it. The original Pinocchio was fucked up. Honestly, like, Pinocchio ending up as an eldritch abomination is a lot cooler. Like, Pinocchio can be a really great horror story. There is that Telltale game, which is inspired from a comic book. It's Wolf Among Us, I believe. Right? So the concept is that all of the fictional fairy tales characters, they ran away from their country. Sorry, no. So all the fictional characters, like Prince Charming, Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, all of them ran away from their world into ours. And they're living in New York, and they're using magic in order to disguise their neighborhood to make it look like it's normal. So that's the setting. And they ran from something that they called the adversary, because the adversary was just taking up ground, was waging war against these mythical kingdoms. And it turns out that the adversary is actually Geppetto. Geppetto built an army of Pinocchios, and he was taking over the fictional lands, and he was killing people and shit. They did live in the ghetto, yeah. But that was a really interesting spin-off on Pinocchio. Oh yeah, Lies of P. That's an excellent game. If you're into Pinocchio, here's how you do it properly, right? Just make a spin-off. Just do something else. So you got Lies of P, which is kind of like Bloodborne, I guess, but it's in a Pinocchio-like setting. And the graphics are amazing as well. Look how cool the enemies move, right? Because they're supposed to be automatons. Kind of looks a little bit like Siberia as well. I don't know if you play as a actual human. I mean, it looks so great. When I saw it, I was like, wow. I didn't know they can make games this cool. But it looks absolutely amazing. Yeah, Bloodborne is really good if you like Souls games. So if you like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, you're going to like that. I guess you can do some elemental attacks on your weapons as well. Yeah, so that's what's coming out. It doesn't say when it's coming out. It doesn't seem to say when it's coming out. But I'm really excited. I'm really hyped. Some bosses will have parts that you can attach to yourself after you defeat them. And Geppetto being the final boss. Yeah, these would be really great things if they add them. When will the woke media phase be over? I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? Because you go from one woke stage to another. I mean, they used to start with feminismus. But then they dropped it. No one talks about the patriarchy anymore. Then they had the phase with Islam. And now the French president is talking about Muslims the same way people who got banned from YouTube talked about them in 2016. So it's not like the woke phase ever gets to be over. It's that they move to a new thing. And by the way, even the right-wing media used to be like this back in the day. They would complain about video games all the time. Dungeons and Dragons was causing children to worship Satan. I mean, the satanic panic, right? It sounds so bizarre when you think about it. But the satanic panic is something that the media was pushing. So the media, I don't know if they're going to ever go away from the woke phase. Because the woke phase sells clicks, right? People want to be outraged. Nothing makes a video go viral more than outrage. I guess no, sorry, my bad. So comedy works, right? If you have a very funny video, like a meme, it can go viral. But what also goes viral is moral indignation. So if you get people morally indignated, and fear also makes people go crazy. If you have, the death counter on CNN, how many people died from the pandemic? That sticks people to the TV. Satanic Panic was about child abuse. Apparently, after the FBI released some of the documents from that time, there might have been something to it. Obviously, it had nothing to do with Satan, which is very interesting, right? Because if people didn't mention Satan as well and just talked about child abuse, then people would have taken them more seriously. But because they brought Satan into it, it made it look like it's a bunch of crazy people that talk nonsense. The Catholic Church didn't like D&D because you could choose. Oh, fuck off. Who cares what the Catholic Church likes? It's not like the Catholic Church. I mean, look, a lot of things weren't liked by the Catholic Church. Rock music, right? Like heavy metal, goth, bikers. The dress code that bikers used to have was considered, evil. Like the Catholic Church, anything that wasn't, the suburban family that takes their children to church every Sunday was problematic. But basically, it's kind of like this, throughout human history. Like, you have the overwhelming culture, and in this case, in America, it was Christianity, right? So it's the overwhelming culture, and then you have, like, subcultures that take away from the overwhelming culture. And the more authoritarian a culture gets, the more at war they are with entertainment, right? So anything that takes you away from Jesus was a problem. Cartoons, Pokemon. Oh my god, Pokemon, if you play the song backwards, it sounds like worship Satan. I'm not even kidding. Like, they actually stated that. Like, there were priests that said that. So you're not supposed to watch Pokemon, right? You're not supposed to play Dungeons and Dragons. You're not supposed to play video games. You're not supposed to watch movies. You're not supposed... Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? People need some entertainment. What is that? Oh, you need to go to your Bible reading class and spend time with your friends there. And it's like, yeah, but like, not all people are into that. Yeah, and it's usually like controlling culture, and usually like women do not get to be told what, like the thing that women like are rarely under attack. Like, notice that, like even now, like if you look at the video games that women like to play, they never get covered by Kotaku. Like, Kotaku never covered Farmville. Kotaku never covered what was it, Bubblegum Saga, or what was it called, Bejeweled. Like, Kotaku never talks about point and click games, big fish games. They don't talk about those. They only talk about the games that men like. At least back in those days, people didn't take them seriously. It's not that people didn't take them seriously. People did take them seriously. But they weren't inside the hobby, right? Like, you didn't have priests trying to get inside D&D, like Wizards of the Coast. Getting through the ranks. Becoming like the gatekeepers, becoming the HR people. And then hiring and firing people based on how aligned they are to Christian beliefs, right? Like, they didn't do that. Like, the attack was from the outside, and people from within the hobby would form ranks. The way progressives did it is that they got into the hobbies, and then they started segregating the hobbies. So it's like, oh, well, there's two types of D&D players. Like, there's the good type that believes in the progressive ideology, and then there's the racist, misogynist, pig assholes. Which ones are you? Right? And they would basically like segment and fragment the community until the community is destroyed. It's what happened to the atheist community. Knitting circles are under attack. I think the left has completely co-opted knitting circles. Like, if you go and you look at some knitting websites, they talk about immigration, they talk about gun violence, like they talk about all the things except knitting. But yeah, anyway, I'll stop it here because I need to make 2 more videos. So thank you so much for watching this, and thank you for the super chat, Zedith, and everyone else. Thank you, Lupus Albus, as well. Culture war never changes. It used to be, see, this is the thing, like, a lot of the new definitions that we're coming with aren't new. It's just that people used to express them in other ways. So the culture war used to be explained as the cultural gap. The cultural gap meant when children and their parents can't see eye to eye with each other, right? Because you have the cultural gap and the children think in a different way than their parents. But I guess because of technology, things are progressing so fast that I notice a huge cultural gap between me and people who were born like 5 years before me, right? So that's the main problem. Secondly, NPC, right? Like the NPC meme, that's not a new meme. I read French authors talk about the French Revolution, and they were calling the people there the marionette man. Like a person that's like a marionette and their strings are being tugged. Right? So like all of these things that we think are being invented and, we're edgy for using these definitions, They existed before. Like, nothing is new. Everything has repeated. That's why they call it, like, history repeats itself. Yeah, I did give an encore because I got a super chat. Like, I'm sorry. If I got a super chat, I have to address it. I can't just, you know, take a person's money and leave and run away with it. I can't do that. But anyway, right, now that the super chats are gone and I have finished addressing it. I should actually, hold on. Should send you to someone else, right? Is Viri playing with Arch now? I think I can send you over to Viri's channel. What the fuck is she playing? Let's rate Viri. I'm going to put her up here. If a mod can pin that link for me, I would thank you. Why can't I pin it? Oh, never mind. I managed to do it myself. So, yeah. How many views does she have? She's got 39.
Made a mistake.
She's playing with Kids and Arch, I think.
Oh, I could have just killed you just then.
So Kibbs actually stole the VTubers away
you know
from
what?
me. I need to be more careful.
Because you couldn't. Because you're like,
This
Kibbs
one
is
work
too
better?
cool.
Maybe I'm a little stuck though.
What game
Wrap
is
it
this?
up, fuzzball.
Yeah. Fuzzball?
It looks like a game made
Yeah,
in California.
very
Yeah, it's
fuzzy.
very
Yeah.
fuzzy.
You're definitely, yeah.
Yeah, Fuzzy, stop shooting Nazis.
Aha.
Start producing iron.
I think she's got like so few
We're
people
doing it
because she's
slowly
playing
but
with
friggin'
Archcast with
surely.
the Bickering bunch, and
I'm
like
all
most people
drill
watch them
ammunition.
rather than her.
There's a bug attack coming.
I don't even know what Sudoku is.
Very getting pretty good at laying down that pipe. I am, Todd.
What the goddamn
Actually, I have
thing?
to
It's like
Well,
build
hold on.
this.
We gotta fight them real quick.
Oh.
I'll remove the
Oh,
turrets in a second.
Ah,
We
I
lost
didn't
our
realize how
gear.
low.
Looks like we've gained advantage though.
Oh no.
Hold on, it's not a complete loss.
Okay, you can go watch her for further entertainment. I'm going to head off, so take care.